WGBB, Freeport, Long Island. It's time for Dave's Gone By, 11 to midnight. I'm gonna stop singing now.
There goes the neighborhood.
We got David Lefkowitz here. He's a Long Island arts guy. He's got his own radio show.
Greetings from Long Island, where every highway is a sunrise. It's time for Dave's Gone By, an hour of comedy, talk, and music brought to you by Total Theater, with your host, Dave Lefkowitz. You've never heard anything like it, so sit back, relax, squeal if you must. Here's the host of Dave's Gone By, Dave!
Tropical hot dog night! Like two flamingos in a fruit fight! Every cover of day, whirling around at night.
Well, there goes the Daverhood for the 300th time. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome on this balmy, if rather moist Sunday evening to the 300th episode of Dave's Gone By. It's called Perfect Game, because that's what bowlers do when they hit the big 3-0-0. And hopefully, I don't know if it's going to be a perfect show. We're going to try and make it as perfect as possible. We're going to load it up with highlights of recent shows. And if you want to hear a bunch of episodes of Dave's Gone By, I'll tell you how you can hear them free on the internet at any time. But thank you so much for being with us. Thanks also to David G. Myers, who does kind of a pre-show theater thing before we do sometimes on Sunday nights. But thanks for sticking with us. We've got an hour of comedy, talk radio, music, interviews, skits, all sorts of stuff. It's what we do every week here on Dave's Gone By since October of 2002. I'm Dave Lefkowitz. I'm the host and producer of this show, have been from the beginning. And somewhere in the middle, I was checking this week because we were loading up bunches and bunches of episodes on the internet for people to hear. We now have every episode of Dave's Gone By from January 2005 on through last weeks or 2 weeks ago on the internet. And I thought that my guest co-host, Jeff Goodman, has just been with us for about half a year to a year. But you've actually been pretty much a staple of this program since about the 150th episode on.
Yeah.
So welcome, Jeff, bon vivant and general man about town. How are you, Jeffrey Goodman?
Very well. I've been fine.
Good.
But it's bon vivant all around.
Around man about town. Well, Jeff, thank you for being such an important part of this radio program, and thanks for being the sidekick. Sometimes I don't necessarily value you, or I'm trying to cut you off to get things rolling. Most of the time. But generally, I do appreciate your contribution and the energy that you bring, and also the wheels that you bring to get me to and from the station more than anything else. But are you as happy to see 2008 go far away as I am?
Yeah, I'm pretty happy it's gone.
Miserable year in most senses. Although,
well, it kind of takes George Bush away with it too, which is also nice.
Yeah, I mean, we still got 3 more weeks of him, so I don't know what else can go wrong. Enough has.
Oh, don't worry.
But let's get some things right on this episode. Let's tell you, first of all, who brings us Dave's Gone By every week. Our beloved and...
Besides my frequent cough?
Our near perfect... Yes, the cough has been with us since the 150th episode as well. Who are our sponsors, Jeff Goodman?
Well, there's the number one sponsor, which is the Copy Kings of Broadway.
Hewlett Minuteman Press. On Broadway, next to the defunct Lohman Shoe Store, opposite the regular Lohman's.
Which I think we've given the defunct Lohman Shoe Store much more advertising than it ever really needed.
More advertising, actually, than we give to Hewlett Minuteman Press. Even though Dave's Gone By listeners can get 10% off every copy job, big or small, at Minuteman Press. Don't miss them. They're in Hewlett. They've been there since the 1970s. The Turon families, great people. I've been dealing with them for years. Please go to Hewlett Minuteman Press. And also, please frequent the most delicious-est deli in all of Long Island, perhaps all of New York.
Delicious-est?
Most deliciousness in the Woodrow Delicatessen, which are located in the Peninsula Shopping Center of Hewlett, and they've been around since the 70s. Norm and George are the two owners. Fresh, delicious cold cuts, chicken, turkey dishes.
But can you get a good knish?
You can get a great knish. You can also get hot dogs. You can also get kasha knishes, kasha varnishkas. They even have parv desserts. They're kosher. And they are, however, open 7 days. So please go to the Woodrow. Find out more about them at woodrowdeli.com. But you got to leave off that second W for...
What?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. WOODRO Deli.com. This program is also brought to you by Performing Arts Insider Theater Magazine, the Bible of Broadway since 1944. Jeff, you're a subscriber, aren't you?
Well, yes, in my own way.
Why do you subscribe to Performing Arts Insider?
Because it gives me all the information I'll ever need about every Broadway, off-Broadway, off-Broadway, opera, whatever. It gives me so much information about everything that is New York performing arts related.
PerformingArtsInsider.com is the place to go. Dave's Gone By listeners get a really big discount. It's an expensive journal because it's really for the theater and entertainment industry. But if you want to get it...
You can be a professional, too.
Yeah, it'll make you... Reading through it, you will know everything you need to know about theater and performing arts in New York. So go to PerformingArtsInsider.com. Check out the special for Dave's Gone By listeners. And also, you can write a check, you can pay by credit card, via PayPal. They want your money, and it's worth every penny.
You will be a member of the who's who of Broadway.
So do we also want to give a shout-out to our balloony sponsor?
Well, if we have to.
Yeah, we got to. Quickly.
Well, excuse me, got a little gas.
No, you
I got a little helium.
That's right.
Well, if you're having a party in 2009 and want to celebrate, call Fancy Schmancy Balloons at 516-797-3229.
Again?
516-797-3229.
And it's not just balloons. If you're doing a real nice party,
it's beautiful centerpieces and all sorts of... You need it, we got it.
Well, this is what we got coming up on this 300th episode of Dave's Gone By. I wanted to do a mix. I didn't just want it to be a clip show, like they do with all these sitcoms that get to the 100th episode or the 200th episode.
I want it to be a clip show.
So we do have some clips. We're going to be hearing from my conversations with people like Juliana Hatfield.
Who's that?
Singer-songwriter. We've got Issa, formerly known as Jane Siberry. Very interesting conversation with her. I mean, these are just bits and pieces. Uncle Floyd, we'll be hearing from, Floyd Vivino. And, of course, a very memorable visit from the great Asian singer, Wing.
Thank
we
God.
had to play a little Wing, of course. So,
thank you.
And also, want to play a clip that we haven't played on this show, where I went back for the third time on the Joey Reynolds program.
Third time was a charm.
It really was. It was probably my best appearance there, if I may say so myself. Joey Reynolds.
Your best vocal appearance.
And otherwise appearance. Joey Reynolds is this host on WOR. It's a pretty big station. That's 50,000 watts in New York. Well, really, yeah. And they've been around even longer than this station. Mm-hmm. Joey's their overnight guy. And he's had me on twice before, and this time he had another theater person coming on.
Ooh.
A guy named Leonard Jacobs, who writes for the New York Press, and he's done a bunch of other stuff. Well, they wanted another theater person to be able to have a conversation and get something going, because they'd be talking about Broadway and this book that Leonard wrote. So they figured they'd have me on. What they didn't know, the little secret that I had, was that Leonard and I had been feuding for years and years and years. And so bringing us into the same studio together was kind of an interesting thing to do. The press agent knew about it. Joey and certainly his booker Myra didn't. So I'm going to be playing 15 minutes of what happened on the Joey Reynolds Show when I was on there about 3-4 weeks ago.
But let's put it this way. Someone has a new lover.
Ew. Ew. Not quite. But you know what everybody should love? davesgoneby.org. It's the place to find out about this radio show, to see pictures, to see the history of the show, and to hear almost 200 episodes of the program since, as I said, since the beginning of 2005. They're free. You can download them to your iPod. You can also just stream them if you're afraid to download something into your computer. You can stream it right on your computer. So do check it out at davesgoneby.org. We really worked very hard to get all these episodes up, and it's exciting to have them there. And you really see just how many people, amazing folks that we've had on the show over the years. So it remains for Jeff to wish everyone a very happy...
Yes, I want to tell you that I want to wish everyone a happy 8th day of Hanukkah. I have just corrected the official WGBB menorah, which only had 7 lights on it.
He had to light the 8th electric light. And who knows, maybe this one will last another 8 days. That last light will carry us through when they turn the electric bills off because the station is too cheap to pay for anything. So at least the menorah will be glowing when everything else will be off.
That's true. That'll be like it's our eternal light.
So we continue eternally on this program. Dave's gone by. We've got a couple of commercials to do, and then we'll be right back with some highlights.
Ooh.
Meow! I'm not an ordinary cat. I'm a copycat. I love to make copies, so my favorite place is Hewlett Minuteman Press. For 3 decades, they've been on Broadway in Hewlett, printing booklets, making business cards, designing wedding invitations, and making millions of copies. Meow! How good is Minuteman? Hey, I used to have 1 life, now I've got 9. Hewlett Minuteman on Broadway opposite Loman's. Tell him Toner the Copycat sent you for 10% off. Here are 15 reasons why you should visit the Woodrow Delicatessen in Hewlett. Brisket, hot open roast beef, barbecue chicken, chicken fricassee, Polynesian chicken, frankfurters, stuffed cabbage, Romanian tenderloin, fresh turkey off the bone, matzo ball soup, French fries, corned beef, pastrami, 7-layer cake, and Hawaiian chicken salad. And here are 3 more reasons. The Woodrow is kosher, open daily in the Peninsula Shopping Center, and they cater. Woodrow Deli. How many reasons do you need? Man, they had me at reason 3, I believe. But anyway, this is Dave Lefkowitz on Dave's Gone By, our 300th episode. Let's get right to a couple of the highlights of the past few months of the show. We're going to be talking to a couple of people, singers, female singers, about their personal lives. We'll talk to Issa, Juliana Hatfield, and the one and only and indescribable Wing. But let's begin with Issa. She's formerly, her previous name was Jane Siberry, brilliant singer-songwriter, composer, who was in town for a relative's 90-something birthday, and just talking, getting a little personal with her. We're talking, by the way, with Issa, and we're thrilled to be doing that. Do you have a couple more minutes?
I do. I don't feel very coherent tonight, so I hope that I'm still making sense, but...
Well, I never make sense. So between the two of us, we're completely illogical. But that's the nature of this program. It's fine.
Oh no, I'm counting on you to make me sound good, Dave.
Oh, well, I'll do it in the editing. Believe me, the whole interview will be 3 minutes long, and it'll sound amazing. No, I'm kidding. Just kidding. And your mom was great, by the way. She's fabulous.
I don't believe anything she said.
Fair enough.
I'll tell you something different next time.
I was also tempted to ask about the personal life of whether, the really typical sort of stuff of like, what is your social life, if you don't mind, whatever.
No, I'm surprised more people don't ask me about it, and it actually makes me feel hurt that people don't ask me more about it. No, I'm just kidding. Maybe. Well, basically, I don't have much of one because I don't live anywhere. And
well, your mom's in a hotel room with you. That tells you something right there. But no, I kid.
Yeah. No, today is actually, it is Big Day. It is my uncle's 90th birthday, and this is Siberry. He and his wife were the inspiration for me changing my name to Siberry. So.
Oh, okay.
Very special day. So, and now my personal life. No, what were you talking about? Songwriting? Oh, the lyrics.
No, sorry, I don't even, and forgive me for not even knowing this or if this is too personal, but I honestly don't know your orientation, and it may be none of my business, but I'm curious.
North?
Canadian. That's your orientation is Canadian.
I'm up there.
Uh-huh. Well, when was the last time you were in a relationship? Hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, sorry, I left the...
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. A good one, a bad one? Can you be more...
Anyone that wasn't like just a date, something that was a real sort of a couple turning into a couple, even if it didn't end well.
Coupling. Oh, coupling.
Well, yeah, okay.
Geez. Can I get back to you on that?
Sure, if you want to be on another episode.
Okay. It might be a few years, but...
Now you know why people don't ask you these questions. Okay. I'm kidding.
Well...
No, but is it a sore spot, or is it just, like, so personal that you don't...
It's not a sore spot. It's more I just can't remember, partly.
Oh.
But orientation-wise, I really think that's none of anyone's business.
Okay.
And I'm always... don't be too nice about it. I'm always surprised when people introduce themselves with their orientation, or that I really think, I don't know. Or if we do, I think maybe it's a really good goal for us to always be removing any word that separates us.
We're talking with Juliana Hatfield, who was described by Brett Milano in his book, The Sound of Our Town, A History of Boston Rock and Roll. Quote, she was a willowy beauty with charming shyness and a slightly tragic air. Does that still describe you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Physically and also the demeanor,
Yeah, I'm what is it? A charming shyness? Well, I don't know if I'm charmingly shy. I'm pathologically shy.
Really?
And, I've got a slightly tragic air, I guess. I think I was born with that.
Well, first of all, let's start with the shyness, though. I mean, that's an interesting thing to be if you're going to be fronting first a rock band and then a solo act. I mean, was that a specific thing in your head, like, I am so shy, and therefore, I'm going to get out there with a guitar and put a mic in front of my face, and the spotlight's going to hit me, and...
Well, it wasn't something that I consciously thought about, that I consciously decided to do, because if I did, I would have realized it didn't make any sense. But I think it does make sense for someone who's shy to become a performer, or to become a songwriter, or a singer, because it's a way, writing songs and singing is a way to communicate with people. And I always felt that I had difficulty talking to people and communicating to them and just sort of being among people. And making music was a way for me to be among people, but not to actually have to talk or to, I could play songs and with people and for people, and it was a way for me to be close to people. And I think that I'm the only person who's ever been in a band who never did drugs or drank to excess. I think I'm the only one. I was like the freak who didn't do drugs, and everyone else did.
And yet, from your persona, I guess it's totally wrong to judge like that. One would probably have assumed, oh, yeah, well, she must have done some heroin.
Well, that's really interesting. I didn't realize it. Well, yeah, I guess I can see how I kind of look. I didn't brush my hair all the time. I was kind of skinny. I guess I kind of looked like a junkie. Right,
and the heroin chic thing came along in the 90s, and you almost fit.
And I never was,
good.
I was always afraid of drugs, and, I mean, that's just the truth, I was never drawn to drugs, really, at all, ever.
By the way, you're talking to someone who never had a puff of a marijuana cigarette, so, I mean, I've done heroin. No, I'm taking it.
You've never tried marijuana?
No, I'm really kind of straight-laced, kind of...
No, I'm like that, too. I mean, I've smoked pot, but I don't really like it. But that's about the only drug I've ever done.
But the thing was, what that maybe people didn't know, and that what you've been pretty upfront about, is that you went through, since we were talking about the slightly tragic air, you did battle, on some level, depression.
Yeah, I had a big problem with that.
Well, that kind of masks... That may look like a heroin problem from the outside. When did that start?
It dogged me for years. It started, I don't know, maybe it started in high school. I can't remember, but it got really bad in my 20s, and I was pretty miserable all through my 20s, really. And
were you getting help at that point? Were you seeing something?
No, not until, I think when I was in my late 20s, I finally had this dangerous moment where I almost jumped out of a window. I started to fixate on jumping out of a window, and I kept saying, I'm going to do it today, I'm going to do it today. And then at some point I realized that my thinking was really diseased, like there was something really wrong with...
Especially since the window was closed at the time, so that would have really hurt. Yeah,
I know.
Thank you very much. We're talking with Wing, by the way. Yay!
That's
I'm so
W-I-N-G.
excited. That's it. Well, it's part of your actual real name. Your full name is what?
Wing Han Zhang.
Wing Han Zhang. Yeah.
Zhang Wing Han.
So it's like I can never get that first name, last name down either. But people call you Wing, of course. And do you prefer singing live, in concert, or in the studio?
Of course, singing in the studio is more comfortable, and it seems more safe. But sing in a stage is more challenging and more encouraging. No sunshine, feeling it. Nobody gonna throw me down. Like you, gonna swing it. Nobody gonna mess me around. Hey, Satan, pay my dues. Playing in a rock and band. Hey, Mama, look at me. I'm on my way to the promised land. I'm on the highway to hell. Highway to hell. I'm on the highway to hell. On the highway to hell. Don't stop me.
Wow.
Fantastic, Wing. That was excellent.
Sensational.
Are we going on?
I'm not sure.
Are we going to keep going down the highway to hell with me?
Highway to hell. I'm on the highway to hell. On the highway to hell. On the highway to hell. I'm on the highway to hell. Highway to hell. On the highway to hell. On the highway to hell, and I'm going down all the way. On the
Excellent. That was great, Wing. Excellent. Dave is at a loss for words, which I have never seen him at a loss for.
I'm soaked in so many ways you can't imagine. Oh, thank you, Wing.
And God
thank
bless
you.
the people in the radio in Texas for sending you the song.
Yes, that was extraordinary. Thank you, Wing, and thank you so much for being in the neighborhood.
Yeah, it's my pleasure.
And you have made 2 more big fans.
Everything old is new again, because now you can hear vintage episodes of Dave's Gone By 2 different ways. At davesgoneby.org, click the links to hear entire episodes free anytime, day or night. But maybe you want something more tangible. You can still buy shows on CD for just $10, postage included. Visit davesgoneby.org for all your CD and podcast needs, or email davesgoneby@AOL.com. We'll make everything old new again.
We'll order now what they ordered then, 'cause everything old is new again.
Yes, we're making things old new again here on the 300th edition of Dave's Gone By. We're playing some kind of really cool things from our recent past.
And David, it just reminds me, these clips reminds me that you seem to always be asking for a date on these.
No,
you're
I'm
digging
asking about
into
their
women's private lives.
Yeah, well, as opposed to their private
and you're going
parts.
straight down the highway to hell.
The highway to somewhere. I don't even want to know.
Hell.
Well, here's something that could have been hellish, but turned out rather nice. I was on the Joey Reynolds radio program. Joey Reynolds is this legendary radio figure. He's currently on WOR. He's an overnight guy, and he occasionally has theatrical guests, and he's nice enough to have me on. What? He's nice to have me on sometimes because I'm a theater person, so he figures he throws a couple of theater people into the ring, and that keeps it kind of lively. Well, his guest a couple of weeks ago was a fellow named Leonard Jacobs, a longtime critic. He currently writes for the New York Press, and he was writing for Backstage for a while as well. So Leonard and I, as will be discussed in this clip, have a past together, and not a very, very happy one. So it made things kind of interesting. And also we talked all about the theater and Leonard's book and Broadway history, kind of a neat bit. So it's about 15 minutes out of a whole almost hour-long segment that I wanted to play for you here. Hope you enjoy it. Here's me and Leonard Jacobs, and also Myra and a couple of other folks on the Joey Reynolds Show.
All right, we have Leonard Jacobs here, and he's got this Historic Photos of Broadway book, which is a generous coffee table book. You know, I could go back to when I went to NYU. There were a lot of hit shows on Broadway at that time. Bells Are Ringing, Music Man. There were blockbuster shows. Golden Boy with Sammy Davis. Take Me Along. What was one with Sid Caesar? Little Me. You know, I mean, those were all the shows on Broadway at the time. It was a huge, it was a plethora of hit shows. And from those shows came great music, which everybody recorded just about. Right. Because in those days, everybody recorded everybody else's songs. There was no sense in one artist doing a song. And one artist would have a hit and everybody else would cover it. Sure. But, you know, I have a great collection in my head of those second acts because I used to sneak in.
You know, that's much harder to do now.
Why?
They're really, have you noticed that? That you know, ushers, they're checking tickets more. They're like trying to memorize where people were sitting during the first act. I've noticed this a lot more.
Rush in with a hacking cough.
No, I mean seriously. Maybe a week ago I saw this, and they, you know, were you sitting in that seat earlier?
And why do they care in the middle of the show? You know?
Well, right, exactly.
Well, I think in Hollywood they hire you to do that. It's called. It's an audience extra. You know, you sit there so that you can make the auditorium seem full during the Oscar Awards, which are boring if you're not getting one.
Well, no, they're happy to paper the house in the beginning of the show if it's not selling too well. But in the middle of the show, they don't want you walking in. I don't get that.
Also, you know, if they're papering the house, who cares?
No,
there's no money there anyway.
That's David Lefkowitz, and David was with Playbill for a long time, you know, and until General Motors stopped buying the ads, right?
Pretty much.
We'll be right back. Joey Reynolds Show from New York.
Well, David, you must be looking forward to that bailout then.
Oh yeah, a few years too late, but sure.
You know, the idea of putting all these shows together is so personal because there's so many good ones now. South Pacific has got to be in here. I didn't notice. Is it in here?
South Pacific is not. Oklahoma is. You couldn't include all the Rodgers and Hammersteins, but we included, you know, the best, and, you know, we have a lot to cover. We're covering 120 years in this book.
And a lot of them are coming back. Shows are being revived over and over.
Guys and Dolls.
Pal Joey.
We've always done that. You know, I mean, I think, did they revive 40 years ago too?
Sure.
Do they? Did they revive?
This is about the fourth Pal Joey so far, is that it?
Well, it hasn't been in a long time, Pal Joey, and it's the first West Side Story in about 25
South
years.
Pacific never was. Luna was in the one at the City Center. Years ago.
That's right. I forgot. She was in
West
that.
Side Story.
Yeah.
And she was in South Pacific when she was, well, in a past life.
You know, then there were other titles that seem to come back every 20 minutes. I mean, there have been, 18 revivals of Gypsy.
Of course. And what's that other one that they're always... Well, aside from Grease, God help us.
That's over.
Closing. I liked Grease. And the audience loved Grease. And this is one of my pet peeves. You know, you had a show that was promoted on television, and it brought a whole new audience to Broadway who had probably never been to a show before.
Have you looked at them?
Have you looked at yourself?
Oh, well.
They're as good as I am, and they loved it, and they stood up at the, and they just clapped.
But are they going to anything else?
I think they probably will, because the experience is very exciting. If you have never seen a really live produced Broadway show, and you see one for the first time, then you like it, and you stand up and cheer at the end, you're going to go another time and see something else. And I think that's what you have to do.
All right, now we have to bring something up here because everything's relative. And you're right with what you say because it is relative, and we are maybe jaded. But let's tell everybody what you did in Maui. We did the show from Maui, and where did you go?
I went to see a wonderful production of The King and I in Maui. It was a community theater, but it was professional, and it was just terrific.
Was it as good as Yul Brynner?
It was different than Yul Brynner,
Right,
but
exactly.
I didn't expect Yul Brynner. But if I would have seen Yul Brynner in Maui, I would have gone back to that place in Maui.
Well, but let's say if you're going to do the what ifs, what if you got a $100 seat in Maui? You think you want to see the community players do that? You know, with a hand puppet?
There aren't $100. No,
I'm just saying. In other
it
words,
wasn't a hand puppet show. It was really well done.
No. What I'm saying is that when you come to Broadway and the West End in London, you really expect perfection.
People are paying a fortune for it, and that's the thing. Until theater becomes something that's financially accessible to everybody, you're going to have problems.
Well, I was thinking about that when I saw White Christmas the other night, because if people were only paying $20 or $30 or $40 and seeing this regionally, I'll bet people in the regionals are going to have a wonderful time, or had it when it was on tour. You see it on Broadway, and it's just like, why isn't it magical? And especially for someone who's paying $120 to see it, they're going to want not just nice, not just fun, not just kind of touching, but they want magic.
Liza Minnelli, which I've talked about that a couple of times. Last night, I wanted to read the reviews at 2 a.m. live because I figured this is the advantage I have that nobody else has. But they didn't come over the New York Times. The Post had done it, I guess, this morning, right?
Yes, they gave her 4-star.
I didn't see that.
Who was the critic on that, by the way, at the Post? Who did they say?
Somebody that began with a D and a long
Joe Germanowicz.
That's the Daily News. The Daily News is Joe Germanowicz.
Was it Frank Scheck, maybe?
Frank Scheck.
Yeah.
So is it now? You know, you saw Liza the last time in this thing, David. You saw her do the. Did you? No, you saw her on TV.
Well, we were talking about Arrested Development because that really brought her back to the culture in a way that said, "Wow, she's really, really talented and funny again." Who knew? Because I mean, she's always. It's not like she's never lost. I got it. But in her last Broadway assignment, and Leonard will back me up on this, she had hurt her foot or something like that. So she's singing and she's doing her thing, and most of the time people are wheeling her around in a chair. And it was great to see her, and she was tremendously talented, but it was, we wanted a little more. You know?
That was a couple of years, I think, after the hip replacements, wasn't it?
Oh, it was hip.
And
Okay,
she couldn't, I mean, she was kicking, but it was more about, hey, everybody, I can still kick, as opposed to,
How about being ambulatory? That's a good one.
Ambulatory is rare on Broadway now.
But she was really quite, I always felt about her that I wanted to take a bath in Valium before I saw her. But
Liza feels the same way about Liza.
I didn't feel that way last night. She seemed totally in control of herself. She was charming. She was honest, and she was, after the first song, when her voice warmed up, she was just terrific, very powerful, and she really can deliver.
Why do I feel the show is turning into The View? Why am I getting that idea?
No Republicans here, don't worry.
Yeah, this is a very, very interesting time, isn't it? I mean, we're turning into another kind of a format all of a sudden. It's fine. I'm just joking.
You got to move it around.
Yeah, well, believe me, if you have a new hip, you're going to move it around. Does she have 2 new hips? Is that right?
And 1 knee. And I was trying to figure out which knee was the real one.
Oh, God.
Is it the one she was, tapping
Joey
in?
Reynolds Show live from New York. Now, Dave, what have you been doing since Playbill?
Well, I used to edit Playbill.com, not
Right.
the actual magazine, but quite a few things. I'm the co-publisher of Performing Arts Insider Theater magazine, thank you for asking, which is a 65-year-old journal telling you everything you need to know about what's going on and off Broadway and off, and everything cabaret, opera, and dance, so you can all check that out. I also host a radio show, and that's called Dave's Gone By, and it airs every Sunday night still on another station. I'll be kind, I won't mention it on
Why not? Mention it. What is it?
WGBB. And we're hitting
So you're in Long Island.
Correct, out in Babylon. And we're hitting our 300th episode at the end of the month, so that's pretty exciting.
Congratulations. And Babylon is a great name for a place that I should live in.
But I also this is good radio, I think, right here, because one of the fun things about radio is a feud. Now, this is cool. This is cool. Leonard Jacobs and I have known each other for many, many years. And because it's a very small theater community.
It's getting smaller.
And No, this is going to be great. This is going to be
Good,
all right.
good.
Hopefully we're going to shake hands and bury the hatchet.
But I got news for you guys.
was a jerk.
Every community is getting smaller because they're losing jobs.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
I was at a party
Anyway,
where
you were
5
saying-
people unemployed by newspapers, 5 theater critics without a job.
That's no good.
Anyway,
Yeah,
David, you were
that's
saying?
what they were saying in the New York Post the other day, that story. But no, I had Leonard had directed a play of mine many, many years ago, a one-act play, and we saw differently about it. And I was kind of, I'm the author, and I think I'm so smart, and you're just the director. And I told him rather stupidly, what I thought of the production, and I think that was the onus or the animus that has been between us 20 years later. So first of all,
Are you ready to forgive him?
Only if we say it was 16, because it was 16.
What? How do you remember that? Yeah.
But Leonard,
we're shaking hands.
We're
There's a visual.
shaking
Yeah.
hands, and by the way, in California we would have been... Well, no, we can't get married. You're already married. Never mind.
Yeah. But thank you for the offer, yeah.
you can't get married there anyway.
No,
Oh,
but,
right. Yeah.
That's because yes is no and no is yes. But isn't that L.A.?
I could, really.
That's why they have that Proposition 8 problem.
It's also the Upper West Side, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it's L.A. and New York. That's the difference between L.A. and New York. Nobody ever says yes in New York, and nobody ever says no in L.A. So, they got a perfect match.
You know what I was going to say, Dave? I was going to say we were both terribly young, weren't we?
Oh, you were probably younger than I was. If it's only 16 years ago. I was grown up enough to know better, but...
I wouldn't even say to you that I was a grown-up 16 years ago. So.
Fair enough. So it's just one of those things.
Now,
Everybody
we
knows
made
everybody.
peace between the two of you. Bring on the Arabs and the Israelis.
They're actually in the green room, aren't they?
Yeah. Well, they're scheduled for a 3 a.m. or a 4. Is it, Myra? What is it?
Right. We don't know. Whatever. Wait, we got to get them on fast.
Yeah, get them on
before
next
they kill
hour.
each other.
Right.
No, it's good. It's good to have you guys make up. That's very nice.
That's really nice. And Dave is also doing a weekly live talk variety show.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
You said that already.
No, this is different. This
is a new thing. It's starting in 2 weeks.
It's a brand new thing. There's another website that I'm just gotten involved with called StageBuddy.com, and to bring attention to the site, every Saturday night at 6 at the Times Square Art Center, I'm going to be hosting and playing MC to actors and directors and performers. It's kind of a...
Not in front of that peanut gallery I'm talking about.
It's right next to Show World, so if you go in the wrong door...
That's the other place. But I'm talking about where the tickets are. Those.
That's where we got the tickets yesterday.
Oh, well, you mean the TKTS booth with the steps?
Yeah.
Well, that's about 3-4 blocks away.
That's a
on
peanut
47.
gallery.
Yeah. Okay, yes.
I have a question, actually. People seem really divided on those steps. Like, I don't mind those steps
I
at
think
all.
they're great. They're beautiful.
But, I mean, I actually walked past them not long ago, and I don't know who they were, if they were native New Yorkers or what. And they were standing there, in front of it, moaning about it.
There are no native New Yorkers.
Oh, sure there are.
Everybody here is the cream of Oshkosh.
We're native New Yorkers. Yeah. It becomes a place to meet, a place to have everybody taking their picture in front of them.
Yeah.
And it brings attention to the tickets booth. It's a brilliant idea.
Yeah. It's also got toilets, which would be even a better idea.
Oh, okay.
That's the reason for that.
There's so many punchlines for this.
We don't know where to go with that.
We'll be right back. Joey Reynolds Show from New York. Pal Joey. David, have you seen that yet?
No, it's still in previews. So.
Well, they said I heard an ad for it today. They said that it was opening, or it's playing, not playing.
You heard that the important story about it is that they had to replace the lead actor.
Christian Huff.
Yeah, who was good in Jersey Boys. Who was
which is my story.
Right.
Right. We'll go back to that again. And Christian plays Tommy DeVito, who is my friend, and he did it brilliantly and won a Tony for it.
Yeah.
Right. So they cast him for Pal Joey, and I figured, well, that's my namesake. Here we're going to have another Joey. But we had him on the show, and he said he was going to do the show, and now all of a sudden he's not in it.
Well, the official story.
Ankle.
That is the official story. If you read the New York Post column by Michael Riegel, yes, he hurt his foot, but not so badly. He just, according to sources, he wasn't quite measuring up.
I'm sorry, wasn't that Tommy Toon in Busker Alley also?
Exact same.
But let's finish the subject. So what was it? He wasn't able to dance?
Well enough. He didn't have the combination, so they say.
Well, that doesn't make him a bad person.
No, but they fired. Well, he's going to get his whole salary probably, but they said thank you, and this is an excuse not to have him be the lead anymore.
Well, sometimes what happens, and I'm sure you read the same Michael Riedel columns that I read.
He's vicious. He's a killer.
He's actually a very nice guy, but okay. In print, he's a killer. Okay.
I'm not going to defend him or not defend him, but I will tell you what he has said to me about it, and which he said to everybody else, which is he's at the Post for a reason, and that is to help sell papers. And to sell papers, he's got to be able to put something in print, which is hopefully with some veracity.
Oh, he tells... The reason he has kept his job as long as he's kept it is he tells the truth. He always has. He's told the whole truth, and it's unvarnished. Which is why people tear their hair when they read him, and which is why it is the first thing I read on Wednesday and Friday mornings in the New York Post. Yeah.
And you know what I was going to say? Part of the problem is that word of mouth on this production had already gotten out. People were already starting to talk about it, and I think that I don't know Christian, so I couldn't. I'm not.
He's a real nice guy, but that's not the point. The point is that he's got to do the show. I mean, why would he do something he's going to be embarrassed anyway? He don't want to be embarrassed.
And if he hurt his foot, maybe.
Well, if he can't do it,
that as a fortuitous moment.
But if the show doesn't work before it opens, nobody did anything wrong. That's exactly the right thing. You're making it sound like he bowed out. I don't think he willingly bowed out. I don't think that's. I think he may have been convinced to. That seems to be the underlying thing, but I have to talk to Michael.
I don't know. Are they talking like mutual agreement kind of thing?
Kind of thing, yeah. Mutual, like, we'll pay you off, go have a senescent and rest your foot.
I think the sick casting is everything, but I think that, you don't really know what the chemistry is until all of the actors are in the room.
Of course.
And the director starts, talking, and then producers stick their nose in, and, you don't always know. It's a crapshoot, really.
Yeah. And a lot of crap. Well, thank you for being here tonight.
Marriage, Babies, and the End of the World. It's a book. It's funny. I know because I wrote it. And you should buy it. At my website, davesgoneby.org. Are you reading me?
Let's start at the very beginning.
Whether you're at the very beginning, the middle, or the end of the Broadway season, everything you need to know about Broadway, off-Broadway, cabaret, opera, and dance is in the pages of Performing Arts Insider Theater magazine. Available 21 times a year or just in the monthly edition. Either way, Dave's Gone By listeners get 10% off. So subscribe now to Performing Arts Insider and find out all the information at performingartsinsider.com.
I'll make it easier for you.
Yes, and we're making it easier for everyone to enjoy Dave's Gone By by putting episodes of Dave's Gone By for free on the net at davesgoneby.org and playing some highlights of the past few months here on this 300th episode. Mentioned earlier that it is the last night of Chanukah, going into the last day of Chanukah, and again, rather than play some old stuff, it just came to me, why not have a new song, a brand new holiday Chanukah song? What was that?
That's what we really need.
We really do. We don't need a little Christmas. We need a little Hanukkah, and I specifically need a little Hanukkah just like this. Everyone loves the holiday season, each for his own particular reason. Some like the spirit, the warmth and the mood. Some like the rituals, football and food. Some crave the family, others the lights. Opening presents for 8 days and nights. All of these blessings are nice to recall, but they're not the one gift I want most of all. Spending the holidays lonely and blue, no one to see and not much to do. Ain't got no girlfriend, ain't got no missus, no one to hug me and thrill me with kisses. This time of year can be hard on your heart. I bury myself in my work and my art, but still I keep wishing the Lord hears my prayers, proving to me that He listens and cares. So please, God, I've been a good boy. Won't you bring me some comfort and joy? Please, God, my life is so blah. I want to get laid on Chanukah. I see all these couples go hand in hand, but I'm all alone and I don't understand. I ain't bad looking and I treat people well, but women don't buy what I'm trying to sell. I go on Craigslist, I surf around J-Date, but no little Jewess will come be my playmate. It's not like I'm looking for something long term, I just need a vessel to unload my sperm. So hey God, this is my plea. Won't you just do this thing for me? Please God, come to my aid. I wanna get laid on Chanukah. Back in the days of 200 BC, Judah and the family Maccabee, they rid the temple of every last Greek. One drop of oil burned a whole friggin' week. Those are the miracles God tends to do, so why can't he do one for this horny Jew? I don't have a temple and I'm not in a war. I just wanna meet a Hebraic whore. Well, hey, God, I don't ask much. I just want a gal I can fondle and touch. Let me undo a lacy red bra. I want to get laid on Chanukah. Now I admit I ain't the marrying kind. Commitment like that drives me out of my mind. But this time of year, is it too much to hope for a gal in a red suit to slide down my rope? Hey God, enough of your crap. Give me a gift I can bounce on my lap. Only one girl, don't need a parade. I wanna get laid on Chanukah. Maybe I'll stop by the local saloon, find some girl with whom I can commune, fill her head with what she wants to hear, and buy her beer after 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 beer. I will usher her out of the bar and carry that sweet thing off to my car. Now maybe this makes me sound like a creep, but it's not rape if she's fast asleep. Come on, please, God, send me a slut, a frummy brunette to bust my nut. Please let me manage a menage a trois. I wanna get laid on Chanukah. I gladly trade all my Chanukah gelt for a Shayna Madel who makes me melt. And if she's tender and does deep throat, I'll call her again on Shavuot. Yeah, hey, God, it isn't a sin. I just need a girl to make my dreidel spin. I'll pray to Jesus, Muhammad, and Jah if I could get laid on Chanukah. Ma'otzur Yeshuati, I want a girl to go down on me. Please, God, you know what I need. I'm tired of whacking to Donna Reed. I light the candles on the menorah. If I could get laid on Chanukah, if I could get laid on Chanukah, if I could get laid on Chanukah. Amen.
Hi, everybody. This is Uncle Floyd, and you're listening to Dave's Gone By on WGBB. Right, Oogie?
That's right. It's my favorite show.
Let's get nostalgic. We're still talking with the wonderful and amazing Uncle Floyd. I just want to throw some words at you and see whatever happened to them. Remember Malta Schaefer?
Yeah, I do. They were one of my sponsors.
Right. I just remember the ads, and parents
Remember that?
Oh, God, I used to watch your show. Why do you think I have it on the air here?
You know what they were? A soft drink aimed at the Hispanic market. Because I was on UHF, I was getting tons of mail from Hispanic-named children or people coming from the big East Harlem area. And make a long story short, I must have collected about 5,000 fan letters from kids with last names like Gonzalez, Gomez, Hernandez, Lopez. And I said, man, you know what's happening? They're finding Channel 68 because we're next to Channel 47 on the UHF band. And by accident, they would find our station because UHF was like that. You know, you flip the dial around and bingo, all of a sudden they were trying to get, we were on the same time, Los Tres Chiflados, the Three Stooges in Spanish. And they would find me. So I brought this crate of mail to 10th Street in Brooklyn, the headquarters for the Malta Schaefer people. And they were so impressed that they advertised. But Look at that. Nobody does. You can't pull that kind of business today like that.
Well, also, as I recall, there was a point when you had to take like half the show and not apologize, but make it very clear to the parents watching that Malta Schaefer had no beer. It was non-alcoholic because they were marketing this Malta Schaefer stuff to kids, and the parents heard Schaefer.
I was getting in trouble for that because some stupid people claimed I was trying to sell children beer. First of all, the commercial was in Spanish language, which was, so much bizarreness about my show. But, here we are, an English language show with a Spanish language commercial.
That was the beauty of it. That's why people, not just children, that's one of the reasons grown-ups tuned in, because it was just so out there.
Malta Schaefer,
Como Malta Schaefer. I remember. Banks are failing, feds are bailing, look at all the falling stock. War, inflation, dying nation, smashing upon Plymouth Rock. Crappy days are here again, the world is filled with fear again, our savings disappear again, crappy days are here again. Grab your money from the bank and hawk your clothes to fill your tank. We have George Bush and greed to thank. Crappy days are here again. My, how the deficit's grown, and good luck getting a loan. See the banks go up in smoke, and all the brokers going broke. Just like the New York Mets, they choke. Crappy days are here again. Everybody's lost and numb and frightened of the years to come, but there are no towers to leap from. Crappy days are here again. One thing we all know for certain, no one's hurting at Halliburton. Crappy days will hit us hard, keep maxing out that credit card, while other countries we bombard. Crappy days are here again. Everyone is sad and stressed, depression leaves us all depressed. America's been repossessed. Crappy days are here again.
Good evening, this is Tovah Feldshuh on Dave's Gone By.
Now let's go to the early stages of your career, the beginnings of how you went to be. Now, I only found this from the Internet Broadway database, that at one point your name was Terry Sue.
That's right.
What a goyish name.
That's
Terry
right.
Sue.
Rebbe, that's right. That's how I start out my act at Feinstein's. They go, ladies and gentlemen, it's Tovah Feldshuh. And I go, actually, I was born Terry Sue. I grew up in Scarsdale in a somewhat non-observant home. At school, I played parts like Anna Christie, and I never gave a thought to my ethnicity. So I became Tovah Feldshuh. My darling, glamorous Feinsteinites, won't you please call me Tovah, not Tuna, or Tootsie, or Tofu, or Toga, or Torah. So it's,
well, I don't mind Torah. I can call you Torah. That would be totally
call me
fine.
the book. You give me covets. Call me the book. Such honor.
Stuff to finish up on this 300th episode of Dave's Gone By. We ran a little bit late, but we are going to play one of my favorite moments of recent times with Jeff when we were on the radio well past our regular Dave's Gone By time and kind of filling time at the station when some people didn't come in. And there was there isn't much of a record collection here at WGBB, just some gospel recordings that they've got. So we were just throwing on anything and seeing how it sounded. And, you'll hear a little bit of how punch-drunk we were at 2:30 or 3 o'clock in the morning and what we were playing. But before we get to that final kind of thing, I'm gonna roll that back. Got to do some thank yous and stuff like that. So first of all, thank you all for listening since October of 2002. Thank you all for making Dave's Gone By what it's been and hopefully what it's going to be in the weeks and months ahead. Please, everybody, go to davesgoneby@AOL.com. Email me. That's the email address, davesgoneby@AOL.com. Tell me what you thought of the show. Tell me people that you think we should have on the show, guests or ideas about this program that I'm so proud of. And go to davesgoneby.org for much more information about the show. Our sponsors, God bless each and every one, including Fancy Schmancy Balloons for all your party decorating needs. 516-797-3229 for balloons and also centerpieces. Give Jeff a call, 797-3229. Please go to the Woodrow Delicatessen in the Peninsula Shopping Center. They're open 7 days a week. They're kosher. They're absolutely delicious. They're also the nicest waiters and waitresses you're ever going to want to meet. The Woodrow Deli. Tell them Dave sent you. Hewlett Minuteman Press, the copy kings of Broadway. Since the 1970s, 10% off for Dave's Gone By listeners at Hewlett Minuteman, 1315 Broadway in Hewlett. This program is also brought to you by Performing Arts Insider Theater Magazine, the Bible of Broadway, since 1944. Go to davesgoneby.org to find out the discount that you get as a listener. It's a major discount on subscriptions. And also go to performingartsinsider.com to find out more about the magazine. And everybody check out totaltheater.com for 2,000 theater reviews and 3,000 feature stories. Plus, it's also the gateway to the Dave's Gone By archives. Well, I want to remind you also that, as we mentioned on the Joey Reynolds Show, StageBuddy.com's Weekly Night Live plays Saturdays at 6 at the Times Square Art Center. And coming up this coming Saturday, 6 o'clock, the cast of Glimpses of the Moon, and also Leonard Jacobs, who we just heard on Joey Reynolds. He's going to be our guest in the Critics Corner of the show. It's a live show. It's only $5 to get in. So check it out. It's an hour of your time and a lot of variety fun.
Isn't it free if you subscribe to the website?
If you subscribe to StageBuddy.com, that's right. It's totally free, and it's free to subscribe.
Right.
So totally go and do it. I also want to remind people that Shalom Dammit is still on the air with Rabbi Sol Solomon twice a week on Long Island Cablevision and once a week on Manhattan Neighborhood Network. Again, please go to TotalTheater.com for more information on that. Don't really have time to list all the thank yous, but I want to thank every single person who's appeared on this program for the past 6 years, and certainly this previous year. Especially little shout-outs to Rabbi Sol Solomon and Peter Fitzgerald, number one fan Pam, my cousin Adam Glass, my cousin Stephanie, and Adam Shefflin, who had some wonderful news that we covered on the show.
Don't forget Charlie.
Charlie Gross as well. All the folks who took place on the Tony special.
Simon Saltzman.
If you go on the website to find out all the wonderful people, and my thank yous to them. Thanks also to Joey Reynolds for having me on a couple of times on his show. Thanks to James Hodge and the Gospel All Night crew, who, by their good graces, are helping us be here. And James will be here, his crew will be here in a couple of minutes to play some gospel music to take you through the night. I want to thank Mom and Dad, my beloved and terrific parents, whom I saw for Chanukah just this afternoon, and my adorable, wonderful, delightful, and amazing wife, Joyce. Was hoping she would call in, but there was no time. It's just, time runs away from us on this program. And Jeff, thank you for taking your time every week to be with me here at the microphone at WGBB on Dave's Gone By. Well, we'll be back next week. I don't even know what we're going to be doing, but it'll be something else, something cool for our...
It'll be something new for the new year.
But now, alas, it's time to leave the neighborhood, but we'll be back Sunday night, January 4th, 2009. Goodbye, 2008. Arrivederci, shalom, and don't come back. It'll be the 301st episode of Dave's Gone By. Until then, don't miss your days going by. This is Dave Lefkowitz.
And Jeff, Happy New Year, Goodman.
Yeah, wishing you old lang syne and new times.
Better everything, better ahead.
Yeah.
And gone by.
I will pray.
And the audience erupts into applause.
Oh, that was kind of cool. That was kind of neat. Every other song here is Come Reprise.
What?
Well, there's Come Let Us Adore. Come Ye Just Come. There's a song on here. This is Dr. Sheila L. Johnson and Young People for Christ. With the album Resurrection, there's a song, as I said, there's Come Let Us Adore, and Come Ye Disconsolate, and then track 10 is a song just called Come.
Come again.
I want to hear Dr. Sheila L. Johnson come.
Dave cracks himself up sometimes. I can't believe it. He was absolutely almost on the floor with laughter. He's like turning beet red. He thinks his jokes are so funny.
Well, I think we all want to hear her come with this song.
Well, especially Mr. Sheila Johnson would like to hear.
There you go.
Let's go to now.
Lord, hear my cry. Oh, Lord, hear my cry.
Please call in at 631-888-8811.
I guess he was talking to Mary at the time.
But I think more than 5 minutes.
And if Jesus hasn't come after 4 hours, see a doctor.
They can't be right.
Well, he maintained it for a day and a half, and then they took him down and put him behind the rock.
If your crucifixion lasts for more than 4 hours,